In the spotlight of country music's brightest stars, Miranda Lambert shines with unparalleled authenticity and emotional depth. While some may label her outspoken nature as entitled, few can deny the profound impact of her powerful voice and raw honesty. Miranda's journey is a testament to her ability to channel personal struggles, like domestic violence, heartbreak, and self-empowerment, into music that resonates deeply with her fans. Join us as we explore Miranda Lambert's remarkable career, revealing the poignant struggles behind her glamorous exterior and uncovering the true story of the artist who connects with hearts through her profound storytelling. Miranda Lee Lambert came into the world on November 10, 1983, in Longview, Texas. Her parents, Rick and Bev Lambert, originally named her Lucy Miranda after her great-grandmother, though she would come to be known simply as Miranda. Her father, Rick, had a colorful background. A former Dallas police officer in the 1970s, Rick was also a guitarist and songwriter with a passion for music. He was even part of a country rock group called Contraband, playing gigs around Texas and feeding his love for music. After the birth of their daughter, Rick and Bev shifted gears, launching their own private detective business in Longview. It was in this environment, filled with both the sounds of music and the intrigue of investigation, that Miranda was raised. The Lambert family quickly found success in their detective work, which allowed them to build a new house, expand their family with the birth of Miranda's younger brother Luke, and enjoy the fruits of their labor with cars, dogs, and even livestock. Early setbacks and resilience. However, their prosperity was short-lived. By the time Miranda was 7, the Texas economy suffered a significant downturn due to an oil crash, and the Lamberts were not immune to its effects. As work dried up, the family found themselves in financial trouble. The situation became so dire that they lost their home and possessions, forcing them to start over. In a bid for a fresh beginning, they moved to Lindale, a small town chosen by Bev for its good school system. Bev rented farmland to house their remaining livestock, and Miranda was enrolled in the first grade. While Miranda and her brother adjusted to their new surroundings, Rick struggled with the drastic change in their circumstances. The financial loss took a toll on his mental health, plunging him into a deep depression. Rick frequently traveled to Dallas in search of work, but each trip left him more despondent. The family rented a small, rat-infested house, which they painstakingly worked to make livable. Despite the hardships, Bev remained hopeful, often praying for stability, and her prayers were answered when an elderly preacher offered the family a better home for less rent, in exchange for helping to renovate the larger farmhouse. Bev believed the old preacher had received divine guidance, a notion that gave the family a sense of hope and renewal. The Clinton investigation. In time, the Lamberts' fortunes took a positive turn when they were hired by lawyers representing Paula Jones to investigate then-President Bill Clinton. For 2.5 years, Rick and Bev worked tirelessly to gather files and evidence that were eventually used to subpoena Clinton in one of the most high-profile legal cases of the decade. This successful endeavor brought financial stability back to the Lambert family and allowed Rick and Bev to establish a faith-based ministry. Their home became a shelter for victims of domestic violence and their children, offering a safe haven for those in need. Miranda fondly recalled her childhood home, describing it as a warm and welcoming place that always seemed to be full of people. Despite their modest surroundings, living in an old farmhouse with a vegetable garden instead of the luxuries her friends had, Miranda's house was the place everyone wanted to be. Early musical influences and struggles. Growing up in this nurturing but unconventional environment, Miranda developed a strong sense of empathy and resilience. Although she didn't excel academically, she was a hard worker, committed to making the most of her opportunities. One of the most defining moments in her early life came when her father took her to see Garth Brooks in concert when she was 10 years old. The show left an indelible mark on young Miranda, and as soon as they returned home, she told her father, "Daddy, I would like to do that someday." Up to that point, Miranda had only sung in her church's praise band, but this moment sparked a desire to pursue a career in music. Rick, recognizing his daughter's potential, encouraged her to learn the guitar. He bought her a guitar when she was 14, but Miranda wasn't immediately interested in playing. At the time, she was more focused on typical teenage pursuits like dancing, cheerleading, and hanging out with friends. In high school, Miranda struggled with insecurities about her appearance and self-worth. She often wore baggy pants and t-shirts and rarely wore makeup, describing herself as hideous. Despite these feelings, she found comfort and strength in her close-knit family, especially in the bond she shared with her younger brother Luke. Her parents' work as private investigators also added an unusual element to her upbringing. While it exposed Miranda and Luke to the harsh realities of the world, it also taught them resilience and made them stronger. The emotional toll of their parents' investigations did not lead to despair, but rather instilled a deep sense of determination in the Lambert children. A budding musical career. When Miranda was 16, she heard a radio advertisement for the True Value Country Showdown, a talent competition. Confident in her abilities, she told her parents she wanted to enter. Rick helped her record 2 of his original songs, and Miranda was accepted into the competition. Though she didn't win, the positive feedback she received was enough to encourage her to keep pursuing music. Soon after, she made her professional singing debut on the Johnny High Country Music Review in Arlington, Texas, a talent show that had previously launched the career of Leanne Rimes. In an effort to advance her career, Miranda attended a musical seminar, which led her to Nashville to cut a demo. However, the experience was disappointing. She was pressured into recording pop-style music, which was completely at odds with her country roots. Miranda later recalled, "The songs were awful and cheesy, and she was so frustrated that she cried in the studio." Her father had spent $6,000 on the demos, money they couldn't afford to lose. But Rick considered it a cheap lesson because Miranda realized in that moment what kind of music she wanted to make. Disillusioned with the pop music scene, she returned home and asked her father to teach her how to play guitar so she could write her own songs. From that point on, Miranda found her true calling. Songwriting came naturally to her, unlike anything she had tried before. She recalled, "I sucked in school, I sucked at sports, but music was the first thing I did where I was naturally talented." While still in high school, Miranda formed her first band, the Texas Pride Band. They landed their first professional gig at Deep Ellum's Gypsy Tea Room in Dallas. From there, Miranda began performing regularly, and her band became the house band at the legendary Rio Palm Isle Ballroom in Longview. She performed for 4 hours a night, 3 nights a week, and often didn't return home until 4 a.m., only to wake up for school a few hours later. Despite the demanding schedule, Miranda was passionate about her music, and her parents supported her wholeheartedly. She learned quickly, honing her craft and gaining experience in dealing with fans and the rowdy nightlife scene, breakthrough, and national recognition. Miranda's hard work paid off when she entered another talent contest in January 2003. This time, she won the Texas auditions for the nationally televised Nashville Star competition. At 19 years old, Miranda left home for the first time and moved to Nashville to compete on the show. Out of 8,000 contestants, Miranda made it to the finals and ultimately finished in 3rd place. Although she didn't win, her appearance on Nashville Star catapulted her into the national spotlight, and she caught the attention of major industry players. Shortly after, she collaborated with Buddy Jewell, the show's winner, on his Sony CD. Miranda's career continued to gain momentum after the competition. She released her self-titled debut album, which featured 10 tracks, all funded by her father. Her brother Luke helped create a website to sell the album, and her mother Bev took on the role of Miranda's manager, driving her to radio stations and clubs to promote her music. The family even bought a motorhome to serve as a makeshift tour bus, complete with a sound system and an equipment trailer. Commitment to music and rising stardom. Upon graduating high school early, Miranda decided to focus on music full-time. She didn't pursue traditional college education, instead viewing her time on the road as her college experience. "This is my college," she said. "I can't study in a book what I've learned, just being out there and doing it." However, breaking into the male-dominated country music scene wasn't easy. Many club owners doubted that a female performer could draw a crowd. Miranda refused to conform to the expectations of a typical female country singer, saying, "I don't do that. I'm a guitar player and a writer." Miranda toured the Texas music circuit throughout 2002 and 2003, building a fan base and placing 2 songs from her CD on the Texas music charts. Her dedication paid off when she entered another talent competition, the Nashville Star, and achieved third place out of 8,000 contestants, marking the beginning of her rise to fame. Miranda Lambert's journey from honky-tonks to stardom, a story of authenticity, struggle, and success. Miranda Lambert's entry into the country music world was far from the traditional path often taken by aspiring artists in Nashville. Her journey was deeply rooted in her authentic Texan background, strong sense of individuality, and a deep desire to maintain creative control over her music. Lambert's rise to fame can be traced back to a pivotal moment in her career, when Tracy Gershon, a Sony music executive and judge on Nashville Star, took notice of her talent during her time on the reality show. Nashville Star was a competition-style TV series that aimed to discover and promote new country artists. Miranda competed on the show in 2003, and though she didn't win, her powerful performances and unique style left an impression on key industry insiders. Tracy Gershon, seeing the raw potential in the young artist, persuaded Sony Music to sign Lambert to a recording contract. On September 15, 2003, Miranda officially became a Sony Music artist. This was a monumental step in her career, but despite the achievement, Miranda was filled with trepidation. In reflecting on the opportunity, she candidly stated, "I always say that Nashville Star saved me from 5 more years in the honky-tonks." Yet, despite this major breakthrough, she was still scared. The idea of signing a contract filled her with anxiety, not excitement. In her own words, "I was afraid they'd change me. I was worried they'd take my songs that didn't sound like anyone else's and produce them just like the next record down the street. I didn't want it to be the typical Nashville record. I have my own style. I want to be my own person." For Lambert, being different wasn't a choice, it was a necessity. She understood that the country music scene at that time was saturated with a million blonde chicks who can sing, and she was determined not to be just another one of them. She recognized early on that her best path forward was to stay true to her authentic self. Her solution to navigating this potentially career-altering moment was simple. She would either tell the truth as it is, or go back home. This resolve is what would come to define Lambert's career, not only in her music, but in how she conducted herself in the industry. A meeting that defined Miranda's career. The moment of truth came when Lambert sat down with Sony executives to discuss her future. In what could have been a nerve-wracking experience for any young artist, Lambert remained steadfast in her beliefs. She recounted the meeting, saying, "We had a meeting. All the Sony people were there. I sat down at the head of the table, crossed my hands and said, 'Okay, this is who I am,' and I just laid it out. I'm from Texas. I write my own stuff. I have something to say. I'll never dance around on stage in a halter top. I will always play my guitar." With unwavering confidence, she made it clear that if she couldn't make a record that truly reflected who she was as an artist, she would rather just go home and play in Texas. Lambert's heart raced as she awaited the response. The risk she took in being brutally honest with the label could have easily backfired. To her astonishment, John Grady, the label chief, responded with exactly what she needed to hear. He said, "You go make your record." It was a moment of validation that would set the tone for the rest of her career. Lambert would not be molded into a cookie-cutter country star. She was free to carve her own path. The birth of Kerosene. With Grady's blessing, Lambert began work on her debut album, Kerosene. Released in the summer of 2004, the album was a raw and fiery reflection of the artist's distinct voice and perspective. 11 of the 12 tracks on the album were written by Lambert herself or with her assistants, showcasing her songwriting prowess. The lead single, Me and Charlie Talking, was a collaboration with her father and songwriter Heather Little. It was a heartfelt song that introduced Lambert's signature blend of vulnerability and toughness to the country music audience. True to his word, Grady ensured that no one interfered with Lambert's creative process. "Nobody came to the studio. Nobody threw songs at me," Lambert later recalled. She was given the rare freedom to craft an album that was entirely her own. A few months later, when she played the finished tracks for the label, their response was overwhelmingly positive. "You did an amazing job," they told her. It was a surreal moment for Lambert, who admitted she kept thinking, "This can't be real." Kerosene debuted at #1 on the Billboard Top Country Albums chart and was eventually certified platinum by the RIAA, signifying shipments of over 1 million copies. The album produced 4 top 40 singles on the Billboard country charts, including the title track, Kerosene, which became a top 20 hit. Lambert was no longer just an up-and-comer. She was a bona fide star. Touring with country legends. In 2005, Lambert hit the road, touring with country music heavyweights like Keith Urban, Dierks Bentley, and Toby Keith. Her performances were electric, earning her a growing fan base and critical acclaim. That same year, she was honored at the 40th Annual Academy of Country Music Awards in Las Vegas with the CoverGirl Fresh Face of Country Music Award. She was also nominated for the Country Music Association's Horizon Award, marking her as one of the industry's most promising new talents. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, a new chapter. Lambert's second album, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, was released on May 1, 2007. Once again, she was heavily involved in the songwriting process, penning 8 of the album's 11 tracks, including 4 singles. The album showcased a more rebellious and edgy side of Lambert, with songs that explored themes of heartbreak, revenge, and empowerment. Critics took notice. The New Yorker proclaimed that Lambert had proven herself to have talent and charisma on a par with Dolly Parton, drawing a comparison to one of country music's most iconic figures. Despite the praise, Lambert faced a frustrating reality. Her music wasn't getting the airplay it deserved on country radio. None of the singles from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend reached higher than number 15 on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart. It was a puzzling situation for an artist whose albums were selling well and whose live performances were drawing rave reviews. Lambert expressed her frustration, saying, "I really don't understand radio at all. I don't feel like I'm too edgy or out there. I don't know what I could do differently. And if I did anything differently, I wouldn't be me, so I'm not going to, but I'm really frustrated." It wasn't just Lambert who was perplexed by the lack of radio success. Greg Swedberg, the program director for a prominent country station at the time, acknowledged that while Lambert was one of the most talented females they had, and Crazy Ex-Girlfriend was an awfully good record, he didn't think there was a clear-cut hit on the album. He even called Gunpowder and Lead one of the nastiest songs he had ever heard in any genre, a compliment, but doubted its potential as a #1 record due to its intensity, accolades, and critical acclaim. Though Lambert's singles weren't dominating the radio charts, her work did not go unnoticed by her peers or the industry. She received a Grammy Award nomination for Best Female Country Vocal Performance for her single Kerosene. At the 2007 Academy of Country Music Awards, Lambert won the top New Female Vocalist Award, further solidifying her place as a force to be reckoned with in country music. The following year, at the 2008 ACM Awards, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend won Album of the Year, Revolution, a game changer. In 2009, Lambert released her third album, Revolution, which many would consider the turning point in her career. The album, released on September 29, 2009, was a critical and commercial success. Lambert co-wrote 11 of the album's 15 tracks, and her collaborators included notable names like Dave Haywood and Charles Kelly of Lady Antebellum, and her future husband, Blake Shelton. Revolution received widespread acclaim from major publications. Rolling Stone, The Boston Globe, and Slant Magazine all praised the album for its boldness, authenticity, and artistic maturity. Entertainment Weekly went as far as to call it the best mainstream country album so far this year. Lambert performed the album's first single, Dead Flowers, at the 44th Annual Academy of Country Music Awards in April 2009. While the single became a top 40 hit, it was the album's second single, White Liar, that truly marked a breakthrough. Released on August 17, 2009, White Liar became Lambert's first top 5 hit, peaking at #2 on the country charts. Her next single, The House That Built Me, became an even bigger success, giving Lambert her first #1 hit and earning her a Grammy Award for Best Female Country Vocal Performance. That same year, Miranda ventured into a new realm, acting. On February 8, 2012, she made her acting debut on NBC's long-running legal drama, Law and Order Special Victims Unit, in an episode titled Father's Shadow. For many fans, seeing Miranda in this context was a surprise, as she had never expressed a serious desire to act. However, in interviews following the episode, she made it clear that her appearance was a reflection of her deep love for the show rather than a new career path. "I never wanted to act, I still don't. I don't want to be an actress," she said, adding that she only wanted to be on the show to meet the cast and get their autographs. This honest and playful response endeared her to fans even more, as it showed her humility and sense of humor. True to her word, Miranda returned to her first love, music, soon after her acting debut. Miranda's journey, from a young girl with big dreams to a country music superstar, is a testament to her resilience and unwavering commitment to her craft. Through personal heartbreak, creative reinvention, and professional triumphs, she has remained true to herself. As she enters this new chapter with her husband Brendan and prepares for the release of her 10th studio album, fans eagerly anticipate what's next for this Grammy-winning artist who has never stopped evolving. From her humble beginnings in Lindale, Texas, to the bright lights of the international stage, Miranda Lambert has shown the world that with passion, perseverance, and authenticity, anything is possible. Thank you all for watching and for your continued support. We truly appreciate you taking the time to join us on this journey. Your encouragement, comments, and love mean the world to us and inspire us to keep creating. A special thanks to those who have contributed along the way, whether through feedback, sharing with friends, or simply being here. We couldn't do this without you, and we're excited to see what the future holds. Stay tuned, and as always, thank you for being such an important part of our community.